Okay.
I'm gonna steal my
Jesus.
The short chair over there.
Fred. Fred, do you have the short chair today? Get hurt, did he?
I get the short stick.
It's only funny because it's not me today. I've been stuck in the chair before.
Do you feel better?
You have this, right?
You were
Seriously, can't we
We gave you the big
invest
chair.
in 5 new chairs?
Wanted to keep it over.
No, it's our shot.
What did I do?
The piston goes straight down as you
Yes, I
sit
passed
down
them
on
out.
it. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Get my workers' compensation claim.
Okay, coming out of my mouth.
Aggravated.
Good evening. The March 11th meeting of the Milltown Borough Council will now come to order. Will the clerk please read the open public meeting statements?
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required under Chapter 231 Public Law 1975, specifying the time, date, location, and to the extent known, the agenda, by posting a copy of the notice to the municipal building, municipal website, providing a copy to the official newspaper of the borough, and by filing a copy in the office of the borough clerk in accordance with the certification by the clerk, which will be entered into the minutes.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Revelinsky.
Here.
Councilman Collins.
Here.
Councilman Menko.
Here.
Councilman Poznanski.
Here.
Councilman Potter. Councilman Zambrana.
Here.
Mayor Murray.
Here.
Borough Attorney Peter Vignolo.
Present.
Borough Engineer Lou Pascanka.
Here.
Borough Administrator Fred Carr.
Present.
Borough Clerk Monica Orlando here. Deputy Borough Clerk Mary Guiney.
Okay, please join me in a moment of silence, followed by the salute of the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a presentation by Ms. Dorianne Kerber for the Sustainable New Jersey Grant.
Hi, I'm Dorianne Kerber from Fifth Avenue, and I would like to do a presentation for the State of Jersey grant that I applied for. The documentation is due this Friday, so I want to be sure to council and the public question comes and come up with a project. It's coming up. I'm just gonna lower the lights a little bit. It's on. It's coming up. You just gotta lower the lights, it's coming up. I have a little bit of background on myself. I have been working for the Nation of the Champion. I got my certification from Rutgers University in the resources program in 2019, at the end of last year. In addition, I've taken additional courses, and I do a lot of outreach on a number of green teams throughout Middlesex County. And this year, I'm on the Milltown Environmental Commission as an alternate. So my presentation is about the Milltown Senior Center Office on Aging Beautification Project. The inspiration that gave me this line to do was I had gone around town, I saw Milltown Park, and I was included with the Green Team, the Environmental Commission, in cleaning it up and renovating it and bringing it back to life to the Monarch Garden that was installed way back at the Shade Tree Commission. In addition, I saw Borough Hall being all nicely done, so I thought it's time to do the senior center. The vegetation there is pretty minimal, and I noticed that several rainstorms, something needs to be accomplished to address that issue. We do have Mr. Gartners in town, they'll help lead some of these projects with the volunteers, and the Public Works Department will be involved as well. And we want to do, like I said, we do like 3 areas. The senior center is the best choice. And not only to beautify, but it will help control some of the runoff that they're experiencing, which will seem like a photos. And we want to just create a better atmosphere overall, especially since we have our school just to see if I had some interest, and I did, from several people, including, the, what happened, what's too fast? Okay, well, as you can see, there's a lot of water, that's just standing water all over. We do intend to do the bed that's by the entranceway and around the whole area. And again, you can see by the fence, there's a tree, that tree is gonna come down, and we're looking to do a colonnade burn there, so that it's capturing the water runoff. And in addition, there's a tree I didn't take a picture of, but it's right next to the parking lot, which was also included in the grant for those two trees to come down. It's right, in the first handicap spots. We don't want to have any issues in the future. And this is a sign shot. This particular area is going to be handled by Home Depot on that side of the property. I took a picture right by the fence because we are going to be ordering a shed, which is on the diagram that was handed out. And that is going to be different funding, as well as in the middle of this section, they'll have a gazebo as a way of sitting down. So they'll have those two at a separate grant. Okay. So I did have my first meeting with myself, Debbie Cuddy, and Bob Straczynski to determine if we, what to do. The second meeting we held with Ralph, and the director, Councilman Kosmansky, and some seniors. Ideas were discussed and supported, and of course this diagram was provided, and they said, go ahead, leave the product. So we're going to redo the flower beds in front, as well as get new planters, you can see it kind of old, and new vegetation. New vegetation with native plants. And this way it revamps the whole presence and the exterior of the scenery. Now, the grassy area on the side of the building, that's going to be more involved with raised gardens. Home Depot has secured an in-kind service day with us. The manager, assistant manager, will be having a service day where they build 4 flower raised beds. They're going to be up 3.5-inch high because we don't want seniors, big into the ground. They're going to build them. I believe you have a copy of that.
Yes.
A copy that was printed now. And in addition, they figured out an irrigation system, so we don't have to spend thousands of dollars, $1,200 or $300. They're going to wrap around 125 foot posts to the side of the building, and we'll have a stand. In addition, they don't sell the rainbow barrels anymore, but we put it on the estimate, of course. And they'll put them on the 2 downspouts for additional water. So if you don't want to use the hose and have them do it, it'll save money in that respect. We are going to go with native plants and native shrubs. With the 2 trees coming down, we haven't figured out quite yet where the trees will go. This grant is awarded, if we are awarded, in April, and we would get the funding, or the funding in May. We have 18 months to complete this project. My goal is to do as much in the spring, but plant trees in the fall. It's better to plant them in the fall, so they go dormant. Water will rain bad so much. I don't, it'll be better for the, in case it gets dry next summer. So, and I did get this information from jerseyards.org, but I also have materials from my opinions of Champion, and they are assisting me with the measurements of the pollinator garden, as well as how we're laying out, but also Mike's Country Market provided. In addition, an estimate for the front area. Home Depot is going to be concentrating on the side area. And see what else. Oh, we will be putting pavers now. The reason we want to have the 2 raised beds closer to the ramp is so that if anyone has a walking device or is in a wheelchair, we did put that into the estimate as well, and it will cover $3,000 into that pipe. So the labor will be all free. I also have the scouts interested in assisting us. That's more going to be in the front area with the planters as well, with the annuals and then perennials. Finally, to hopefully grow in that area because it's been so my scouts. I have 2 leaders, one from the, of course, from Boy Scouts, one from the Girl Scouts. And they're looking forward to, future supporting us. So I just want to say thank you. I appreciate the opportunity, the mayor and council, for the resolution I received and being able to apply for this grant. And Home Depot for their in-service day, and Mike's Country Market to a nursery for, now he's going for native plants because that's all I pushed, as well as his employee. So that's great for us in the future. And then, like I said, the grant amount was for $10,000. By the time I got all the estimates, I didn't want to go for $20,000, I need $20,000. But there's a lot of supplies that will be included, some of the supplies will be included. We put in a cart, as opposed to a wheelbarrow, it'll be easier for them to bring out. And the shed and the, believe it or not, the gazebo is the community development block grant. I pushed hard for them to contact the county to see if that would be doable. And I knew in the back of my mind, because we're not moving like other things, it was confirmed by the county that we need to want it for that grant. So those funds, that funding is separate and will not be touched with this grant. And Ralph will be helping us throughout the whole process. If we are awarded, we will, order for the vendors, we'll set up a schedule, we'll reach out to all people that want to participate. Home Depot probably will be first, and then we will work around the schedule with the others, and volunteers. But we won't get the funding until midnight, and then we can work from midnight on. The great thing about this is we will get points for Sustainable Jersey. Additionally, Sustainable Jersey, we want to have a great team, which we do, active green team. And in addition, I researched for other towns the NJDOT grants, as well as the playground grant. They recommend strongly to be certified for Sustainable Jersey. We're going to go against the Toronto because it really enhances your chances, not only for those grants, but for roadways too, as well. So it's just Sustainable Jersey's been around since 2014. I've been a part of that process in our town and other towns, and looking forward to it this year. We want to do some outreach as well. That's it. Any questions?
Thanks, Dorianne, because I know they've had 3 bocce ball courts there already on and off and on and off and on and off, so maybe this time we'll have something that lasts a little longer.
Well, they want to also take the raised, beds, vegetables in there, but share that information and share with all the seniors in the town. It's not going to be restricted to just who goes there. We're going to put a push of outreach, which is, fantastic for our points. If you need some tomatoes, come down and get them. Or if you can't, maybe we can coordinate something where it's right. Plus, maybe volunteers to do Meals on Wheels and help out in the program. We want to do an outreach. We have so many people that are 80s, 90s, and 100s. Maybe they want something to do with growing fresh. And that's why some of the seniors have decided that this is a great opportunity for us. Yes.
I want to say thank you also for your vision and your care about the people at the senior center, because you put in a lot of time, I know you have, and you care and it shows, so I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Doreen, I have a couple questions. The pavers that I saw in there, is that, how is that getting taken care of?
That will be coming down from the ramp and along the 2 raised beds on that side.
In the front of the building?
No, the side of the building.
Side of the
On
building?
the side.
Okay,
Yeah, both on the space.
excellent. And that was the block grant, was that the $25,000 grant that the seniors always got?
Yes, correct.
Okay,
That would be either that or this one.
because if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, Councilman Poznanski, hasn't been applied for in a couple of years? Is that a correct statement?
I'm working with Ralph, and there's I think it's 55,000, and it's going to cover the shed, gazebo, or whatever we have out there, the pavers, and so it's covering things like that. But we will have that money
Yes.
to work along with you.
Okay.
Excellent. And the beds, the raised beds are 3 feet high?
There'll be like 3.5 feet behind, plus we're gonna do 2 in the back, smack against the building, just for flowers and so on, you know, not really gonna bring some vegetables, but this way they can plant some flowers in. And it'd be nice for them to do something more on that side. And, you know, have a way to sit down and chat and relax in our space.
Excellent, thank you. Okay. Now is the time for public comments limited to the resolutions listed on the agenda. If you wish to speak, please step up to the microphone and say your name and address for the record.
Resolution 202. Last one, the easement search,
Okay,
that's the trestle.
correct.
I'm curious, do you have a company in mind to do this?
Yes.
And how far back in time do you expect to go?
To find out who owns it,
Yeah,
I would imagine they're going to go back as far as they need to go.
well, that's the question mark then. Cost-wise, there's no limit to the cost?
There is we've got an estimate from the title company to do the work, and that's what is authorized.
Okay. I expect this to go back probably 100 years at least.
Well, this is not actually for the trestle. It's for the 2 lots that are between the Borough Hall and the post office
That's right.
that have the train tracks on them. And we're hoping that that title search will reveal some information regarding the, who might be the rightful owner of the trestle. And I think, Mr. Granola, when we discussed this, it was, we know who owns the property, but the real need for the title search that might be a little bit more in-depth is whether or not someone else retains any rights to the tracks themselves, whether that might be
the private
Conrail
tracks.
or someone else.
Yeah, it's not just a question of who owns the property, it's also a question of who has rights in the property.
Like I said, I've looked at a lot of deeds over the years, pretty familiar with it, and that's why I question at what point. I mean, you can look back a few years, like I said, just tax-wise and stuff, showing that Mr. Berger owned it, household.
But if you go back further, you'll understand more, and that's why I'm just curious where this might end. Like I said, how far they would go. But if they only go so far, I guess we can add to it too, for better understanding of
Well,
everything.
we're trying to figure out who has interest, they'll do an owner search to figure out who owns it and who has interest in it, so and they'll go back as far as they need to for that.
Okay, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anybody else? No? Seeing no more comments, this portion of the meeting is closed to the public. All right, following, okay, following minutes on the agenda for acceptance. February 26, 2024, regular meeting. Are there any comments, concerns, questions, comments?
Yeah, I have one question. So, am I missing something, or are the minutes from the executive session not included in here? Maybe it's me.
They're not included in there.
Is there a reason why they're not included here?
I believe they're not finished being completed.
So then this will be,
We don't have to open this up, we adopt it's considered a separate meeting, actually, that's what
Yeah, I think
Monica told me, so we'll just adopt those at a later date.
sounds good, thanks.
Anything else? No? All right. May I have a motion to accept the minutes as typed?
Motion to accept the minutes?
Second.
Accepted by Councilman Collins, seconded by Councilman Konzansky. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Accepting and filing monthly reports. All reports can be found on the website. May I have a motion?
So moved.
May I have a second?
To accept the reports?
Second.
I have a motion by Council President Revelinsky, seconded by Councilman Collins. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Okay, thank you. Public hearing. The following ordinance was introduced on February 26, 2024, advertised in accordance with law. If any member of the public wishes to comment on this ordinance, they may do so after the reading. Will the clerk please read ordinance 24-1531 by title?
Ordinance amending Chapter 23, Streets and Sidewalks, Section 23-5.3, subsection D, establishing a fine for violation of the section.
Will council make a motion? Second.
A motion that ordinance number 24-1531 be adopted on second and final reading and published according to law.
Second.
I have a motion by Council President Revelinsky, seconded by Councilman Collins. I will now open it up to the public hearing. Ordinance 24-1531. No? The public hearing is now closed. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Revelinsky.
Aye.
Councilman Collins.
Aye.
Councilman Menko.
Aye.
Councilman Poznanski.
Aye.
Councilman Zambrana.
Aye.
Will the clerk please read ordinance 24-1532 by title only?
Ordinance amending Chapter 7, Traffic, Section 7-15, parking prohibited during certain hours on certain streets to impose parking restrictions on the west side of J.F. Kennedy Drive between Violet Terrace and Nicholas Court.
Does any council have any questions or comments?
I'd just like to add that I did reach out to Chief Johnson this week. I believe an email was circulated about this as well, but we discussed the time frame for this, and instead of calling it school days, because that leaves it open to whether or not there was a half-day, partial day, if someone knew it was a school day or school was canceled, whatever, that we would just make this from September 1st through June 30th, because that's a time frame in which school would be present, if there is a school day.
Okay. Motion is to accept this ordinance?
I move that ordinance number 24-1532 be adopted on first reading, published according to law, and that the public hearing be held at the next regularly scheduled council meeting on
March 25th.
March 25th, at 7 p.m. in council chambers in Borough Hall.
Second.
I have a motion by Council President Revelinsky, seconded by Councilman Collins. All in favor?
No.
No.
Has
we
to be a
have
roll
vote.
call
Yeah.
vote.
Okay.
Council President Revelinsky.
Aye.
Councilman Collins.
Aye.
Councilman Menko.
Aye.
Councilman Poznanski.
Aye.
Councilman Zambrana.
Aye.
Will the clerk please read ordinance 24-1533 by title only?
Ordinance amending Chapter 14 Parks and Recreation, Section 6 Borough Pool, subsection 6.3 fees, and Section 7 Recreation Program, subsection 7.2 fees.
Does the council have any questions or comments?
Yes, I have just one question. So, what's the percentage that it's going up from 24 from 23? Approximately, it's like 5%,
Yes,
give or take?
yes.
Yep.
Okay. Was there any consideration for providing any, I know Councilman Revelinsky, you talked about this last year, about providing some sort of free membership to the pool for residents of the,
So I have to commend our rec department chair on this one. She took it upon herself and looked at some of the costs, the increased costs. So far, what we've seen are, that we know of, are going to be the pool chemicals are going up in cost. We also have the minimum wage increase. These increases 5% or not, it winds up with the same projected badge sales as last year, about another $6,855 in revenue. I did ask Ralph to look into it, and what he found out was, number one, well, we don't meter the water usage at the pool, which is about 600,000 gallons. It's 550,000 gallons to fill the pool, and about another 50,000 estimated for evaporation and transpiration of the water. And then there are actual electric meters over there. We have just never read them. So unfortunately, we don't know what the actual usage of electricity is, but Ralph had the opportunity to discuss those with our tax collector's department and plug in some numbers, and they're estimating about $30,000 or more in water and electric fees. That would be the relative, those estimates, let me try to explain this properly. Those estimates are based on what our bills would be should it be any resident or customer, not the actual cost to the borough. So while we get closer to that and we're going to start metering those systems to see what our actual costs are, I think this is a step in the right direction for starting to make it more fair and balanced. And, we don't know every detail. Unfortunately, some of the files from our previous rec director was not able to be located as far as the costs and balance in the end. So I think it'd be unfair to just kind of throw numbers, but we know that there are going up. So that's one thing I think we need to continue to look forward to and monitor over the course of the summer is what are our actual costs, and then make a determination in the fall.
So that would be a no, that there will be no free or...
Well, we'll make the determination in the fall as to what are the actual costs and how much is coming out of the borough's pocket and how much is being compensated for by rentals and others. So
not this year, maybe next year. Okay, thanks.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
We need a motion and a second.
I move that ordinance number 241533 be adopted on first reading, published according to law, and that the public hearing be held at the next regularly scheduled council meeting on Monday, March 25th, 7 p.m. in council chambers in Borough Hall.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion by Council President Revelinsky, seconded by Councilman Collins. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Revelinsky.
Aye.
Councilman Collins.
Aye.
Councilman Menko.
Aye.
Councilman Poznanski. Councilman Zambrana.
Aye.
A public hearing on this ordinance will take place on March 25th, 2024 at 7 p.m. in council chambers. Authorizing payment of municipal obligations. Will the clerk please read this resolution by title?
Resolution 2024-91, authorizing the payment of bills, claims, and statements against the Borough of Milltown in the total amount of $139,274.04.
You have heard this reading of this resolution. What is your pleasure?
Make a motion that you accept Resolution 2024-91, authorizing the payment of bills, claims, statements against the Borough of Milltown in the total amount of $139,274.04.
Second. Motion made by Councilman Collins, seconded by Council President Revelinsky. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Revelinsky.
Aye.
Councilman Collins.
Aye.
Councilman Menko.
Aye.
Councilman Poznanski. Councilman Zambrana.
Aye.
A consent resolution has been prepared for the resolutions listed on the agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are to be considered routine by nature and haven't been reviewed by Borough Council and will be enacted in one motion. Any items may be removed from the consent agenda at the request of any council members, and if so removed, that will be treated in a separate matter. Any items requiring expenditure or are supported by certification of funds. If any member of the council wants any resolution acted upon individually, please give me the resolution by number, and it will be pulled from the consent resolution.
Here, I'd like to pull 2024-92 and 2024-103.
I'm sorry, which ones?
2024-92, 2024.
Well, 92 is the whole consent
The whole
agenda.
resolution.
Which one are you looking to
Here
pull?
you go. Which one's that? 93 you mean, right?
Specifically.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. You gotta pull the
So you
resolution.
just want 103, or?
You want resolution?
103 and 92?
93.
Sorry,
93.
93?
Start over again?
You got my glasses on? Can't see.
I'm sorry, Councilman Poznanski, you said 93 and 103?
93 and 103?
Okay.
Can we also pull 2024 104?
104?
Will the clerk please read the consent agenda resolution excluding 2024-93, 103, and 104?
Whereas pursuant to the rules of council, the council may establish a consent agenda for any regular or special meetings upon certain conditions, and whereas each of the resolutions to be presented before the Borough Council at its March 11th, 2024 regular meeting appear to have the unanimous approval of all members of the Borough Council, 2024-94 through 2024-102. Now therefore be it resolved by the Borough Council of the Borough of Milltown that each of the above listed resolution be approved and adopted by the Borough Council with the same legal effect as though each was read in its entirety at the March 11th, 2024 regular meeting and adopted by separate vote.
You have heard the reading of this consent resolution. What's your pleasure?
Move that the resolution be adopted.
Second.
Motion made by Council President Revlinsky, seconded by Councilman Poznanski. Council make a motion, please call the roll.
Council President Revelinsky.
Aye.
Councilman Collins.
Aye.
Councilman Menko.
Aye.
Councilman Poznanski.
Aye.
Councilman Zambrana.
Aye.
Will the clerk please read resolution number 2024-93 by title?
Appointing members to the Human Relations Committee.
What is your pleasure?
I move that this resolution be adopted.
Second?
We have a,
Can I discuss? Okay. There's a name here that I'd like to pull, and I'm going to explain. Given some of the comments that this individual made in the public forum against our fine police department, I cannot vote in favor of his appointment. I can give you the name if you need it.
Monica, do you need that name for the record, or?
Yeah, we're going to have to say who we're removing, yes.
Pull somebody back.
Okay, can I give him the name?
Let me
Can
ask
you identify a name?
I'm just curious, do we need to do anything else? I know, like, when it comes to speaking of people that are employees, we have to write
He's
something.
not employed.
It's not an employee.
I'm just making sure
You
we're-
merely indicate that you
Okay.
would not,
You're just-
yeah.
just-
Fair enough. Just want to make sure we don't get ourselves in hot water.
That should-
Yeah, the name.
Mr. Matt Murphy?
So should we amend this?
Well,
Is there any
I guess we have a discussion right now. Currently, you have a motion to, did we have a motion yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did, so there's a motion to adopt it, we have a discussion. So Councilman Poznanski's indicated his misgivings about one of the members who would be appointed. We can either have someone pull their motion back and seek to amend the resolution prior to adoption. You can go forward with a vote on the resolution as it stands and with an understanding that Councilman Poznanski can't support it in its full constituted
Is
form.
there any other discussion?
Is there any other item?
I'd make a motion to amend the,
Well, you gotta pull your original motion right now, so.
Make a-
Someone, who made the motion?
Council President
I'm
Revelinsky.
just asking, before we do that, I'm just wondering if anyone else has any comments.
First time I'm hearing about this.
Councilman Manco, anything?
The
idea that
Would like
there's
me to
some type of litigation in town? Oh, sorry. But there's like, if the town's not actually having any litigation with the church, I believe the code enforcement issued something, but really there's nothing,
It has nothing to do with that.
So there's really no legal guideline, as I see it, that would force his exclusion? And this has nothing to do with not like he has anything other than a voice in a group, right?
So does this have something to do with comments that this gentleman may have made on Milltown for All over the weekend?
And I read that.
No, so did I.
I just need you to talk into the microphone, please.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Yes, it is, and it was disturbing to me.
I withdraw the second. What do we have to do now?
You gotta wait and see if you get a second. You got a first? Mr. Mayor, call for a second on,
Can I have a second on the withdrawal of?
no, it's a second on your motion. You got a
On
motion.
the original motion.
So.
So I had made the motion, John withdraws his second. So if there is no second, then we
I'll
have,
second.
Then
I'll second.
No, this is to,
I can't do that.
no, right now, Councilman Collins is withdrawing his second on the initial motion to adopt this resolution. You have a motion to adopt the resolution. If there is no second, the motion will fail, and you will need to figure out what you want to do. If someone were to second it, you would then need to proceed to a vote on this resolution. So, Mr. Mayor, if you could call for a second?
Is there a second for this resolution? No.
Okay, so seeing none, it sounds like this resolution is not going to proceed.
now we can vote for
Make a
a motion
motion.
to amend.
Now,
What?
For or against?
There's no, this hasn't been moved, so there's no, you have no motion on this resolution. You can make a motion to amend this resolution if you'd like now.
Okay.
now,
So then the motion would be to amend the resolution and remove
Mr. Murphy.
Matt Murphy from appointment.
Can we continue the discussion of it a little bit more?
To the microphone.
we have to,
Maybe we just can continue the discussion no matter, a little more.
Me?
do we have to? vote on
Okay,
it before
Milltown
we-
for All,
Right now, you have no motion on the floor, so you can have discussion if you want to entertain it. It's your meeting, Mr. Mayor.
I'm not sure that I like the idea that, again, for whatever the guy said, and I did read it, and sure, I'm not a fan. I do think the town voiced their opinion, counter opinions
Yeah.
regarding it.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure that I feel like I can go, I don't want you in this group.
Yeah, exactly.
Because of what you said there.
Exactly.
It's a bad precedent,
It's bad optic, in my
you know.
opinion.
And,
I get where you're coming from. I get it.
his negativity or his,
Yeah.
whatever his opinions are.
Yeah.
It just seems odd that that guy's gonna be on the Human Relations Committee, but I can't see where I can go. It's not my position to go, not with, he can't be there. If I say that to him, he could say that to me, we all say that to everybody.
Maybe he needs to be on the Human Relations Committee.
Maybe you can learn, maybe we
We
can all
have-
feel better.
Councilman Zambrano, I know you've worked diligently on trying to get members for the Human Relations Committee. Is there anyone else that has expressed interest that represents a member of the clergy?
Not from the clergy that I'm aware of.
Is there a rationale for, or just think,
I mean,
go out to the clergy
I will-
representative of?
Because the ordinance calls for it,
Okay.
so.
I will say that I read the comments, and given the current state of affairs, it doesn't sit easy with me. I appreciate Councilman Poznanski bringing this up. While I understand we all get frustrated, I don't know, if you're going to be talking about human relations and a way to address matters civilly with the public, I think we need to lead by example. And I think, the way that this gentleman went about it on Milltown for All does not exemplify, I think, what we want to have for,
But that's
For leading the public
also,
for-
that's also, so, let's be clear here, there've been members of this council that regularly post on Milltown for All in the past, and that was never an issue, but now all of a sudden, it's an issue. The gentleman had an opinion. Did I agree with his opinion? No. By voting, by adding this gentleman to the committee, does that mean that we support him? No, we're just adding him to a committee, that's all it is. And maybe by adding him to this committee, he was a member last year, and I would say, I did think about it over the weekend when I saw that he was on the list and the comments came out. I'd still say, yeah, no, let's move forward. It's hard enough to put together a committee. Let's see what we can come from there. Obviously, if this particular gentleman joins the committee and it becomes a problem with the committee, then that's a different story. But just say no.
Councilman Zambrana, you said he was on the committee last year.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Was there any issues with his
Not-
performance last year?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay.
No.
Did he go to a lot of meetings last year?
Well, here's the point. So, you go through, I want to say 3/4 of the year, and then, meetings stop happening for whatever reason, life happens, people are busy, and then you come to the end of the year and that's that. My understanding was that he was on the committee and there were no issues at all, so.
I want to thank Councilman Zambrana for clarifying those points. I appreciate it.
I make a motion that we amend the ordinance, Resolution 2024-93, excluding Mr. Matt Murphy from the resolution.
Second.
I'm sorry, who seconded?
So we have a motion by Councilman Collins, seconded by Councilman Ponzanski. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Revelinsky.
Just to clarify, if we're going to vote on this motion, is my yay going to be that I am for the exclusion of his name?
Correct. It's
good.
is
Just clarify.
adopting it as amended, which is removing him from it.
Okay.
Actually, I think this is, just the motion was to
Amend it.
amend the resolution, so we're not adopting anything at this point. This is just step one.
Okay.
This is just the striking of the name, then?
Yeah.
And that's my point.
I know we have a motion on the floor. Can that motion be superseded with a motion to table this?
You have to withdraw your motion.
I'm going to say someone's going to have to withdraw a motion, and then, okay, we have a motion on the floor.
Second.
You can always abstain from the vote.
Yeah, I'll withdraw the motion.
So the motion's been withdrawn.
I'd like to make a motion that we table this.
Second.
We have a motion to table by Council President Revelinsky, seconded by Councilman Collins. Can we take roll call to table the resolution?
Okay. Voting this is to table this and not vote on it. Okay.
Yes.
So we're all in the same, we've had a lot of motions on this one.
So if I abstain from not voting, no.
Do not. Council President Revelinsky.
Aye.
Councilman Collins.
Aye.
Councilman Menko.
Aye.
Councilman Poznanski. Councilman Zambrana.
Aye.
Okay. It is tabled.
It is tabled, thank you.
Okay.
Will the clerk please read Resolution 24-103 by title?
Resolution 2024-103, appointing Louise Murray to the union title of part-time principal account clerk, tax collection office.
What is your pleasure of the council?
I make a motion that this resolution be adopted.
Do we have a second?
I second it.
We have a motion by Council President Revelinsky, seconded by Councilman Manco. Is there any discussion?
Sure. I have a few things. I feel that I and the other councilmen are being put in an uncomfortable position. Damned if we do, damned if we don't. I could ask a few questions. What are Ms. Murray's duties? What is the trajectory to rise to the position from the beginning of her employment? What is the top range? Where I see the top range. How long does it typically take to get there? I feel that a vote either way, at least for me, I feel it could be hurtful either way I vote here.
I have a real question about this because it says, I just got this notice that was put on the desk about an error in here. If there's an error in here, shouldn't there be a union grievance?
I think the information was that there was an error in the initial resolution that placed her in the position, and that this is just correcting that. But I will admit, I'm not your labor counsel, nor do I play her on TV.
As earlier this week, when I received the agenda, I asked Fred, who was able to clarify for me. Basically, it seemed to me that at the inception of the writing of her job description, it was done incorrectly, but you're probably much, if you would, sir? Could you clarify that?
So I could answer that allow me to be the labor attorney. I love to practice law without a license. Short answer is we should have done it correctly, and the first time, it's not a promotion. This resolution was poorly written as presented to the council. This is just correcting an error that was done back, basically two typos on two separate resolutions. This puts it correct, and her rate of pay will be as her rate of pay upon the passing of this resolution. There's no retro or anything. It becomes effective today for what she should have been appointed previously, but inadvertently was not.
Well, then should she file a grievance with the union and go back and get the pay?
She has that opportunity if she would like to do that.
So why did...
I can't prevent somebody from filing a grievance.
I'm saying, I know a little bit about contract law, but you have a contract, we should
Correct.
just go with the contract, and if they want to sit down and renegotiate it, then she needs to file the papers, this incumbent person needs to file the papers to go through the union process to get it done, so that the next incumbent in that position won't go through the same problem.
Councilman, it wasn't like that. So it wasn't a result of a grievance or just a conversation. It just, somebody looked at the record and said, this is incorrect, this happened before I got here, I'm just putting it together. You probably all have copies of the letter from the union representative, the email, and then the two previous resolutions. It was provided on your desk, if you will, and that succinctly basically says she was appointed as one position as the part-time principal clerk, but she should have been she was appointed as a part-time account clerk, but should have been the part-time principal clerk. There's two separate resolutions. We're trying to correct the record.
So wouldn't we have to correct those resolutions?
No, that's what we're doing right now.
So instead of correcting Resolution 201 from 2023, or the one in which she was hired back in 2018, we're just correcting it by issuing a new resolution now to
Yes,
change
sir.
the title.
Yes, sir.
It says the job title was specifically created since the other union employees were promoted in 2022 upon contract settlement.
Yes, sir.
And that the one in 2023 was executed in error, and it read part-time principal clerk. So it seems to me, at least from what I'm reading from the union representative, is that this is a legitimate error, and this resolution is truly just correcting it.
Correct, sir.
But we do have a contract.
Yes, sir.
So we're renegotiating the contract with this resolution.
No, sir. We're correcting the error that was made originally.
It seems that the new union contract finally identified the position, but, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it identified the position, but her title was not changed when that contract was adopted.
Correct, sir.
So therefore, in order to comply with the union agreement, we need to change her title.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Or could we wait till it goes back to renewal?
Council chooses what the council chooses.
I want to say one thing. Personally, I like Louise very much, but I feel like, at least for myself, I feel like I'm in an uncomfortable position here. Because I'm not saying that she doesn't deserve the title or the money that comes with that. I just think maybe that this could have been put out differently. And I don't want to feel like I have an enemy when I come in here, being that I am on council and Louise works here and other people work here. And that's why I feel uncomfortable about this.
So I know I have to abstain from anything, but from what Mr. Carr, you were just saying was there's no salary change or there's no money difference in the position, correct?
Once she gets promoted from one to the other, there will be a change in her salary, but there'll be no retroactive change, Mayor.
Okay.
And essentially, the title is that she'll be receiving is the title that she was supposed to receive Their job description is not
Principal account
changing.
clerk, yes, sir.
So her job description is staying the same,
Her duties does not change.
so
Desk doesn't
everything,
change, nothing.
so it's really just the plaque, so to speak, on her desk. Okay.
So it
My
goes
time
from,
card,
and I'm sorry, it goes from $17.50 an hour to $17.85 an hour?
yes, sir.
So 45 cents an hour, or 35 cents an hour?
That's what the salary ordinance says, and yes, sir, I didn't dig that out just now.
I think we've wasted that much with Mr. Vinolo and Mr. Plaskakis discussing this, but
No,
I just want to point that out. We're talking about 35 cents an hour to correct something that was done incorrectly previously. As a part-time, so not
Correct,
to
sir.
exceed 25 hours a week.
yes, sir.
Let me do some simple math here. Let's see, calculator. 25 times 52 times .35, $455 per year before taxes. Is that? It's a right or wrong?
I don't have SpongeBob with me right now. So if you say so, I say so. You want to calculate it with SpongeBob?
Calculator. I don't have, okay. .35 times 52 times 25 hours. $455 before taxes. So Uncle Sam gets a little bit more too.
Did you have to round?
No, it actually came to 455.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So we have a motion, did we?
You had a motion, you had a second, you've had discussion. So if there's no further discussion,
Is there any,
Gary's got a question. I'm uncomfortable with this. Can I abstain?
you can always abstain.
Okay.
will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Revelinsky.
Aye.
Councilman Collins.
Abstain.
Councilman Menko.
Aye.
Councilman Poznanski.
Abstain.
Councilman Zambrana.
Abstain.
Wow.
Peter, you get a judge on that?
Yeah,
We had 2 ayes and 3 abstain.
You have 3 abstentions.
So it goes with the majority,
The abstentions typically follow the majority because there's not any nays, so,
the judge, so it
yes,
passes.
so it passed.
Okay.
Interesting.
Will the clerk please read Resolution 24-104 by title?
Authorizing hiring part-time chief financial officer.
What's the pleasure of council?
I move that this resolution be adopted.
Second.
I have a motion by Council President Revelinsky, seconded by Councilman Collins. Is there any discussion?
yes. So I had a discussion with Council President Revelinsky over the weekend just to go over, the details in this resolution. My understanding is that we are going to be paying this gentleman who works full-time for North Brunswick $30,000 to him, directly to him. We're not going to be paying North Brunswick.
Correct.
But yet on the next agenda, we're going to be authorizing the execution of a shared services agreement with North Brunswick that's finance-related. So
Correct.
what's that in particular? What does that have to do with?
That avoids the sticky situation of this person answering an email while he's on the clock at North Brunswick. It allows him to be able to do things for the borough of Milltown while on the clock in North Brunswick for a set number of hours. That's the benefit of the shared service agreement.
So is
And
there
I think,
is there a monetary amount in the shared services agreement?
There is, and Mr. Carr, if you want to enlighten us as to what you received from the BA over in North Brunswick in regards to that?
So Councilman, so what was sent to the Finance Committee, and I can send it to the full council tomorrow, if the mayor's okay with that?
Yes.
Can't remember if I did or not, but anyway, a lot of things on the law. So, there are 3 functions to this CFO appointment, if you will. Number 1 would be the appointment of a certified finance officer for the borough. We'll have to bond them and put them in payroll, give them a key fob and computer. They are part-time employees for the borough at this rate of pay. There are 2 separate things, and a shared service agreement currently floating around with, to the council, and will be with North Brunswick. Portion A allows for the appointed CFO to flex his hours, so North Brunswick allowing him to flex his hours and be flexible so that he can work on Milltown items. Let's say he has to take a morning off or an afternoon off. As long as he gets his work done in North Brunswick, his hours in at North Brunswick, they'll allow that flexibility him. So let's say he has 35 hours a week and he says, okay, you know, I come in early, I leave late, the time clock says I'm doing 35 hours, we're good to go, everybody's happy, you get your time, I get my time, but he can now flex his hours formally with North Brunswick to get work done for Milltown. Second part of that, I think is a little more important for the council to understand on the monetary standpoint, is that we are paying for the services of the CFO of North Brunswick to assist Mr. Joe here, Mamoni, in preparing the budget, doing those CFO kinds of things, sort of mentoring him, but more important, allowing him to ask her questions while she's on North Brunswick's clock. Okay, so when somebody says, hey, what are you doing all this Milltown work, you know, in the middle of the day in North Brunswick? You say, look, we're assisting Milltown as part of the shared services agreement. It's all above board. So we're helping, you know, so if we're helped, she has like certain hours a month in the contract to help him physically while he's working, or even flex her time to come here and help him here while he becomes the CFO. You know, probably take him about a year of of really doing it on a day-to-day basis to get a little comfortable on being a CFO. He is not, he's not doing CFO functions right now, Councilman. He's an accounts payable clerk with considerable years' experience.
That's clear, I get that.
And then he has passed the test, which means that's a pretty high bar for the CFO exam. But more importantly, this allows her over there to mentor him while he's doing the job here for us.
So what's the monetary value of this interlocal agreement? That we will be
I think it's
paying
$12.50 a month. It's $12.50 a month.
$1,250 a month we're going to be paying for
To
North
Brunswick.
To
Yes.
North Brunswick.
Starting in,
After,
just see, so April, May, June. So starting in the 1st of July. So what we're doing is that part of that shared service agreement is a payment from them to us for the use of the court for the next 3 months. Our payment to them for the use of the finance officer's services, which is the same amount of money, $12.50. So for the next 3 months, it's sort of a wash for us, because they expect to be out of the court in 3 months.
They expect to be out of here in 3 months?
That's what the mayor of North Brunswick told our mayor, and that's what the agreement says.
Well, what does our finance committee think about that? Because if you go by that building every day, it's going to take another year.
I think we
There is
need,
in the agreement, if they're not out by the 1st of July, then the payments go from there. And we have that conversation from there.
and I think,
Seeing as though we've been like good neighbors to North Brunswick for the last 2 years, right? We have. The plan was for Ms. Larison when she was here, and this would have happened sooner, except the BA doesn't return phone calls and the BA doesn't return emails. So other than like to try to walk down there and have a conversation as to why they needed to get out of Milltown, because again, good neighbors for 2 years, I have a problem paying North Brunswick anything, period, even if it's only $12.50 a month. I don't think we should pay them anything.
I see my previous comment on, that's a council decision.
No, I get that. I get that. And I get, we need a CFO. We haven't started our budget. Last 2 years, the budget was pretty much done by this time. So I know, I get it, we need to get going, but I don't know why we have to pay North Brunswick anything.
no, I get your frustration, and as I expressed to you in our conversation this weekend, that perhaps the deal that we struck to be good neighbors to North Brunswick should have been looked at sooner than after 2 years of waiting and not receiving any
And
compensation.
perhaps the BA from
So-
North Brunswick should like pick up the phone and try and, take care of the people who are taking care of her. If I'm a North Brunswick resident, I wouldn't be happy about this.
Well, I got to say, I'm thankful that our mayor reached out to the mayor in North Brunswick, had the discussion, and was able to help negotiate and fine-tune some of the details by which we are not paying them for the for the months or the first 3 months while they expect to be out of here for the courts. I think that was kudos to Mayor Murray for that, for having that conversation and to getting that accomplished, because initially their proposal was not to waive any of those fees.
You know they're not going to be out of there in 3 months, right? Just saying.
But it's going to be extended, it's based upon, well, if they're still here, those fees are still zero net.
I have a question for Mr. Carr.
Give 1 second, sir. I have the right note to myself, or I'll forget. I've only got 2 working brain cells. Wake up over there. Go ahead.
What kind of compensation would be possibly expected if, using our court system the way they have, if this went on, what would, for a monthly fee, what would be standard?
I wouldn't know, sir. I'd have to, you'd have to call some other courts and see what they pay other courts and see if they have rental agreements and things like that. So I could not answer that without asking a bunch of other people who borrow other people's courts what they pay for it.
Sure, because I've spoken to an official over there, they told me a year and a half to 2 years. That's what I was told. I know the mayor over there said something different, but I was told something else.
Well, $12.50 a month sounds good to me.
Well, I think the current agreement as it stands, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Carr, but the current agreement is that only quantifiable costs can
That
be
was the
charged.
term I
with
used, so
budget.
yes, so
So
they-
how do we justify how much electricity this room uses during courts, or how much the parking area out front gets deteriorated as a result of their clientele utilizing the parking, or how many rolls of toilet paper we're putting
Or how much,
into the
like we
bathroom?
said, how much extra time Charlie used. I think the
Yeah.
example I used was that if somebody were to come into the middle of the courtroom and have an accident, or, drop their soup all over the floor, we had to bring the carpet guy in, that's easy. You could say, hey, we brought the carpet guy in to clean up the chili, that was $150. But it's difficult, regardless of our relationship with North Brunswick or whatever we have, for me to send something over to the BA and say, hi, you owe me X, Y, and Z, and here's why. That's the challenge I've had.
But
I
not
think that-
impossible.
No, sir, not impossible. You're absolutely correct. But not with the time that I have to put in.
I get you,
So-
I get you.
Yeah, I think this is a good example of us working together. They've offered us a relatively nominal fee. Most of the CFO applicants that we've received that have indicated salaries wanted, upwards of $100,000. They're asking for $15,000 and a year, and basically to wash that while they're in our courts. So I think they're extending an olive branch too, to be a good neighbor, and who knows what else will come out of it. Once that ends, there might be something else we're doing for them or something else they're doing for us. But regardless, the interlocal is not a requirement in order to pass this resolution and hire our CFO, so he can begin working outside of his normal hours.
Will the CFO, when we appoint the CFO, will he be able to log in remotely?
Yes, sir.
So we afford that capability to people from other towns, but we don't afford that capability to our own employees. Is that what we're saying?
So if you remember correctly, sir, the council never changed that, so we do remote. I allowed remote, had that conversation with many people. Still a viable option today, still
I
done
believe-
today.
I agree.
It is, until such time as the council changes that. The conversation with the QPA will be mostly remote work. That person will be issued a laptop with login credentials to check Edmunds remotely, which is on the cloud anyway, and I'll have an email address and a laptop. Hopefully tomorrow morning when they come in, we'll issue them that piece of equipment. The CFO will have both the laptop and the opportunity to move into that room across from the clerk's office, where Denise was initially being, where the prosecutor or the defense attorney meets people during court. This allows them to sit at a desktop with a printer right next to them in case they need to print out POs and budgets and things like that. If not, then that individual, by remoting into that specific desktop, they hit the print button remotely, all the documents they want to print out there, they can call me on the phone or Monica and say, hey, I just printed out, a temporary budget, please, make copies, give it to the council or whatever. So they'll have the opportunity to do both. I mean, they can also sit in this room with their laptop and do whatever they need to do, depends on, for instance, they can want to come and work and somebody's using that office, for instance, during court days, because it is used during court. But, we'll have to learn that, the scheduling, he'll have to learn that scheduling of when he can't use that office and once he gets organized. But right now, we haven't even appointed him yet, so.
Any more comments?
So maybe as a backup plan, we could kind of figure something out for when the 3 months come up. If they're still going to be here, at least we could expedite our process at that point, or walk into our conversation with them a little more informed. But yeah, we do need to keep business in the town moving forward. So,
So, Councilman, so either tonight or tomorrow morning, bright and early, I will send to the council, mayor and council, the 2 shared services agreements that were sent to me today from Brunswick for review by mayor and council and the attorney. One specifically talks about financial services, one talks about court, use of the court services, okay? So you have the opportunity to look at those, review those, and understand what the intent is. And, currently we have it on the resolution, we have it on the agenda for approval on the next council meeting. If we don't, we don't.
Okay, seeing no further discussion, will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Revelinsky.
Aye.
Councilman Collins.
Aye.
Councilman Menko.
Aye.
Councilman Poznanski.
Aye.
Councilman Zambrana.
No.
Okay, reports from the officials. Council President Revelinsky.
By the vote you just heard, we now have a CFO in place, and we will be looking forward to getting those budgets worked up and move forward with the 2024 budget. That's all I have for this evening.
Councilman Collins?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a copy of the utility report. I also have a highlighted one. The outage of 40 homes was restored. A pole was replaced on South Street. A tree was removed from DeBonis Drive. An outage was repaired at business on North Main Street. Municipal parking lot lights were repaired. A broken pole was replaced at 111 Main Street. The wire transfer was complete. An outage was reported at the business on North Main Street, and a burn-up splice was repaired. A large outage was reported on Warwick Court, Parkins Drive. I think I read this already. I'll just skip over the sewer. The water utility monitoring of the pump station occurred at a regular schedule. Reeve Avenue sewer lift station pump was repaired and back in service. Check valve for pumps 1 and 3 would have been installed on Church Street. The DEP conducted a biannual inspection of the water system and testing of the water system. If anyone hasn't signed up to receive the Nixle email and text messages, please go to nixle.com to register. And that concludes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Councilman Menko.
So the Library Board of Trustees meeting is tomorrow, so I don't have any clear updates regarding their activities other than the basic schedules that I get. Wednesday, March 13th, there'll be some drop-in playing featuring puzzles, Duplos, and more. But tomorrow night is the Board of Trustees meeting, and it's open to the public. So if anyone has time, they certainly can come by. The library does some great things. Being part of that is a very useful thing for Milltown. On Thursday, March 14th, 21st, and the 28th, there are going to be movies, after-school movie and snack at the library as well. The library will also be celebrating New Jersey Makers Day on Saturday, March 16th at 12 p.m. There'll be a craft show there, and then at 1 p.m., there'll be a live unique creature animal show. And so that's certainly interesting. You should try that. Registration is required for the animal show, so please call 732-247-2270 or get registered on the library website. Tuesday, March 19th at 9:15. There's adult yoga in the evening at 6 p.m. Oh, there's adult yoga at 9:15. And in the evening, at 6 p.m. There will be live music with Ken Lenlin and his vintage acoustic guitars. The concert theme is She Did It Her Way. Saturday, March 23rd at 11, join Sam G for crocheting. There is after-school tween craft on March 20th at 3. And Monday, March 25th at 6:30, Blossom Bingo for adults and families, and a scavenger hunt. And, but if you get a chance, please try coming by to the trustees meeting. You learn a lot, and always good to be part of the town. The rec department has been doing a lot of their standard fare moving forward, getting things ready for the summer. They're still looking for help when it comes to their summer programs, the pool, and some of their camps. Kelly did some very fine work trying to estimate what our costs will be in trying to set forward what the pool badges will be. There are some things that are on their website. Also, you've seen on Milltown for All. They've started posting some of their things that are coming up. But the spring programs are open. Community Pass, if you register for it once, it will help you do everything that they're going to do, that they're involved in. Some of the other things that are going to happen in town over the next few years will also be accessible through Community Pass. Not a bad idea. And it's also just it's a good solid way for the town, like, to consolidate and keep the cost and the time frame of doing things a little lower. So that's a good idea as well. The application for any of the summer employment is on the Milltown Borough website under the Recreation tab. That's really all about that. I missed the last meeting, I was sick, but I know we do have a lot of things coming, and they're trying to just move forward with summer and spring. So there are still a few tickets left, I believe, for the hockey game as well.
Excellent, thank you. Councilman Poznanski.
Sure. I have a few reports. I'm going to start with Senior Center. Wednesday, March 13th, it's 1:30 lunch and learn with Parker House. Monday, the 18th, be a bus trip to Delicious Orchards. The bus leaves the Senior Center at 9:30. Tuesday, March 26th, a bus trip to the Portuguese Fisherman. The bus will leave the Senior Center at 11:15. And Wednesday, March 27th, 1:30, question and answer with our Code Enforcement Officer, Morty. I'm still working with Ralph. We have the grants for the outside that are coming along. So hopefully we see development soon. And I also want to thank Bob Skarzinski for being the president at the Senior Center. He's been there for many years, and I hope he sticks around. And I also want to thank Debbie Cuddy for all she does. She's kind of hidden over there. A lot of people don't see her. I'm also reading Councilman Potter's report for the police department and fire and rescue. Okay. Statistics for the month of February. The police responded to 1,476 calls for service. Residential security, the Milltown Police Department are assisting residents with a home security risk assessment, which is free of charge. If requested, one of the police officers, community affairs officers, will come to your home, discuss vulnerabilities, and help you come up with options to improve your home security. To request a risk assessment, please contact Lieutenant Carmen DiLorenzo. There was talk recently about home break-ins, and there's only been one break-in this year. There were 3 that someone had brought up last week, and what I've talked to Chris Johnson, and they were not true. So there's been one break-in this year. So for the Milltown Fire Department report, for the month of February, there were a total of 13 fire calls. And congratulations to Deputy Chief Fama for securing a $75,000 state grant through American Rescue Plan Firefighter Grant Program awarded by the governor. A special thank you to Eric Barre for donating his time and materials in repainting of the chief's car. Save the date for the annual flower sale located at the fire department, March 28th, 29th, and 30th from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Members are needed. Any candidates interested in joining the Milltown Fire Department are encouraged to stop by the firehouse on Monday nights at 6:30 or email joinmilltownfire@gmail.com. And as far as historic preservation, we had a Zoom meeting and we talked to a man from the county, and we're still trying to get grants staff are moving the station, so there's nothing to report with that, except at least we've had a discussion with the county. I've talked to Mr. Curran, and he's positive in giving us a little leeway. Let's see. Milltown Rescue Squad, no updates. Milltown 4th of July, save the date on April 20th. So the 4th of July organization will be hosting an annual celebrity bartender event at the Milltown American Legion Post 25, and more details will follow. And for the DPW and water and sewer, the check valve for pumps 1 and 3 have been reinstalled in the Church Street station. Reeve Avenue sewer lift station pump has been repaired and is back in service. The DEP conducted biannual inspection of the water system. And this is for the DPW itself. Street sweeping has taken place and is ongoing to meet the DEP regulations. The quarterly catch basins and outfall pipe cleaning has taken place to meet the DEP stormwater regulations. And staff continued to address any potholes that needed to be repaired. Please use report a concern feature on the borough webpage to report any new potholes. Cleanup of bamboo, down trees, and vegetation at the Schwendeman cabin continues. And if anyone drives by, take a look, because it looks great in there. The root removal at Borough Park and major fields. The spring cleanup has started at Borough Park. A large tree was removed on Debonis. The current stump list has completed with the help of North Brunswick DPW. Their people have come and lent a hand in grinding the stumps. And what I'd like to say again, please take a look over at the old DPW. They come in as they can, as they have a little bit of time to keep chipping away over there to make it very presentable. And I think if you look over, you'll be happy with what you see and how your tax dollars are spent. And like I said, the same for the Schwendeman property. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Councilman Zambrano.
Just a short report tonight. The Revitalization Committee will meet tomorrow, Tuesday, 7:30 via Zoom. It's an open meeting to the public. All are welcome. Thank you.
I have no report tonight. Reports from the borough professionals.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, just an update on the West Foch Avenue improvements. To date, the contractor has completed the sewer main between Albert and Patain. He's continuing towards South Main Street. Once he gets that done, which should be in about a week and a half, weather permitting, he's going to back up and start doing the sewer lateral connections and the water services. And that concludes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Borough clerk.
I have a few things. In February, we issued 27 dog licenses and 1 cat license. The $5 late fee went into effect February 1st for any late renewals. That does not count towards anybody who's registering a new pet. Please remember the rabies vaccine must be valid through October 31st of this year. Also, letters went out a couple weeks ago to residents who we had on file as owning dogs that have not renewed in the past 3 to 4 years. Many times, it's just people who have moved or the dog has passed and they didn't notify us. But if you did get a letter, just because we don't have a license on record for you, we're just trying to clean up our records. So please get it back to us. You can call us, you can email us, you can drop off the letter that we sent. We're just trying to clean up our records. A reminder on Election Day deadlines, March 25th is the deadline for primary petitions to be filed in my office by 4 p.m., which is 2 weeks from today. Making sure everybody heard that? Okay. 4 p.m., not 4:01, but 4 p.m., 2 weeks from today. April 10th is a deadline to file a change of party affiliation. I do have a bunch of those forms in my office. May 14th is a deadline to register to vote if you are not a registered voter. I also have those forms available in my office. May 28th is the deadline to apply for a mail-in ballot, also available in my office. Early voting will be May 29th through June 2nd. Once I have all those locations, I'll put it on the borough website on the clerk's page. Tuesday, June 4th is primary election day. Poll workers are still needed. You get paid training, you have $300 for a full day of working, $150 for a half day, and you get to see me all day. If you're interested in being a poll worker, contact me in the clerk's office, 732-828-2100, extension 181, or you can email me, morlando@milltownborough.com. I'd like to say thank you to the Senior Center for allowing me to come and speak to them on February 29th. We had lunch, we chatted about a bunch of different things, and it was a lovely time. And also, I want to congratulate my deputy, Mary, on passing her certified municipal registrar test.
Congratulations.
So we did, council did pass a resolution appointing her as an alternate deputy registrar, so now she can start doing death certificates, marriage licenses, birth certificates, so that'll be the next step in her training to be a fabulous deputy clerk, and that is my report.
Ms. Orlando, just a quick question. I know you mentioned this, and this had come up earlier, but the polling locations, it's my understanding that the schools were looking to have elections not held at Joyce Kilmer School anymore. Are they moving forward then with, instead of Joyce Kilmer, it being held at
There
Borough
is
Hall?
no change at this time. It has to go before the county commissioners of election. Their meeting's on March 14th. So once they have their meeting, I'll have more information if there is a change on the 25th.
Thank you.
Mr. Carr, do you have anything?
I've said enough, thank you.
Old business. Does any member of the council have any old business to bring before the council? No? New business. Does any member of the council have any new business to bring before council? Nope. Open to the public. The public comment portion of our meeting is to allow the public to bring to the council's attention their concerns or comments. The council will respect the public's time by refraining from any comments until the speaker is finished. It should be further noted that the public comment portion of our meeting is not structured as a question and answer session. Please state your name and address for the record when you come to the podium.
Well, I did have a question. We always talk about Dorian Kerber, 24 Riva Avenue. We always tell everyone to sign up for the Nixle. Is it possible at the next meeting we can have information about why you would sign up for Civic Plus, which I have done, and I find that more informative and quicker to get? Just to know what departments might use Civic Plus, and if it's just the police department that uses the Nixle, just so we have a clear understanding of why we have two communication systems to residents who sign up. So I know you can't answer it, but...
No, thank you for bringing that up. That's a good point. In fact, earlier this year, Chief Johnson had expressed that Civic Plus has so much more options, or so many more options and capabilities than just Nixle, and Nixle's at this time comparing the rates more expensive than those. Apparently, we had gotten a proposal last year from Civic Plus, and it was never acted upon, so I know he's going to be looking for that at some time later this year, so that hopefully it can be introduced and we can ease the transition to phase out Nixle and go with Civic Plus.
Okay, thank you. Also, we're looking to do the Green Fair on April 20th, 2024 at Mill Pond Park. We'll have that information at the next meeting so that we can hold it there. We're looking for anyone who wants to set up a table and share with us, and I'll get you the times at the next meeting.
We did get a letter from the Environmental
Oh, you did?
Commission that
Okay.
was given to everybody on council, but you guys are part of us, so we don't have to give you permission to use the park.
Okay, sounds great. Oh, and the Green Team, we do have a meeting tomorrow night. We are going to work on the Sustainable Jersey certification. There's many outreach materials that we want to share, lead-free. Also, if we're going to be doing lead replacement, we want to share that information, get that out there so that people are not in the dark. People start knocking on the doors, say, like, you got to replace your main to the, from the main to the property, whether it's business or house, and there is funding available. I did find, is it okay to make a statement? I hope so. I did find a FEMA map. There was a big section of underserved and overburdened community, so we can be applying for more grants in that area. And I can share that with the mayor and council, or just send it to the clerk and she can distribute it accordingly. We're doing a lot of research. Edison, I'm with the Green Team there, pushing hard for green infrastructure, pollinator gardens, and it's just growing there. But I'm working with a lot of other towns to do green infrastructure, but also outreach. So whatever we do here, you're going to see that throughout the county, and we're going to make sure it's posted on Tap Into It, so people know, maybe our website, but we'll discuss that further and prepare that for the mayor and council to review. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Russell Einbinder, 152 Main Street, North Main Street to be exact. Actually, 152A North Main Street to be more exact. Here for a couple of reasons. Number one, I want to remind people that we're trying to change some things on Channel 15 and other things to communicate with the town. We don't have an official outlet on Facebook or any other social media in the town right now. But if you don't get Channel 15 at home, and you would like to know what's going on and see the things that we put up on the station, number one, the videos are all on YouTube these days, but also the bulletin board that we do all the time. If you go to the Milltown Borough website and you drill down, there's, community and things like that, and then one of those things says Milltown TV, you'll see the entire presentation, the Google Slides presentation, whatever the latest things, like Robert's in the room right now, updating things about the library, like you were talking about before. And most of the things you were talking about too, Councilman Mako, same thing with recreation. It's all getting put up there right now, updated every time we do this and during the week. It's your most reliable source of getting what's officially going on in town for events and things like that. Now, very often you'll see me personally put things up on Facebook because I'm asked to by committee heads and department heads to try and help publicize it. We do. But like I said, we don't have an official outlet. So unless we change that attitude or change the rules, whatever, that's where we're at. So just, if you're not aware, you can see all the things that are on the slideshow on our website. Just drill down a little bit, okay? That's one thing. The other two things are a lot more fun. First of all, and about 2 weeks from now, that's waiting. Okay, wow. March 23rd. Yeah, it is feedback. That's not us, though. Somebody do something to their mic? I'm not talking that loud. No. Hey, I don't know if they're getting it at home now. Oh, they are getting the sound now, I know that. Long story short, March 23rd, is our Lions Club annual Easter egg hunt. I mentioned it last month. And yes, we got the 2,000 eggs and we got a whole bunch of baskets for the top 5 egg finders. Hopefully, if you've never been there before, you'll come, and if you've been there before, you know what to expect. It's going to be a blast. The other thing is coming up that Councilman Pazanski mentioned, and that is on April 20th, we're having our celebrity bartender again. And once again, like I said last meeting, but also I want to remind everybody that it's one of our big fundraisers of the year. You don't pay for the taxes, we pay for it, things like this. But also, I want to make sure that you know that everybody in front of me, all the professionals and all our council, and even you, Mr. Mayor, we, on behalf of the 4th of July organization, you're all invited. So we'd like you all to come. If you can come, you're more than welcome to serve for a while behind the bar if you like. If you want to do that, get in touch with me or Dave Potter, or even better yet, Melissa Elmeyer. If anybody you know her, most of you know her. She's our chair of that particular event this year. So thank you very much. Looking forward to seeing you there and many other places. And we'll talk to you later. Oh, one more thing, because I almost forgot. I want to thank, because Mr. Mayor, you may say it, I'm not sure, but I want to thank everybody that came out last week and helped support Troop 33, both the businesses that support us financially and all the people that showed up, and even the people that bought tickets that didn't show up because of the rain. We love you all. Thank you for helping out Scouting.
Thank you, Russ. Anybody else?
Jackie Revelinsky, 32 Elm Place. I wanted to know if the council might consider putting out to bid for landscaping services that might possibly free up DPW people to do other things in town. I know they're always swamped. They do a great job, so do the police department and our emergency services. With the landscaping, I don't know if you're permitted to put down any weed applications. Also, I know that there's been discussion about rodent issues over by Ford Avenue. Do we have an ordinance on hand that says that your garbage cans have to have lids? I'm not saying go to the extreme of what East Brunswick just implemented, but I've seen a lot of garbage. You know, not every garbage that's in the can is bagged even. I thought that might help. Any strip malls, especially ones that have food vendors in them, if we can have more garbage cans outside. As a crossing guard that's been around different areas in town, I've seen the garbage that's just left. There was a pizza box left right in front of Milltown Pharmacy that still had pizza in it, but there's no garbage can by the pizzeria when I went to throw it in by Dunkin' Donuts. I told the guy I just happened to find it and I was trying to get rid of it, but that's for their garbage. Recycling. I know there's a couple of places that they keep their recycling kind of close to the curb all the time, so the boxes are blowing up and down Main Street and in other parts of town. And like I said, this is just stuff I've observed in different districts from being placed in different areas for crossing guard. And not everybody breaks down their cardboard, and that's what blows around a lot. It's not broken down, it's not bound, so that's it. That's all I have to say. Thank you for doing everything and addressing my concerns, and thank you.
Anybody else?
Lee Weisenberger, 99 JFK Drive. Just curious now, like I said, PSC&G is going to be coming to their paving soon. And anything on curbs with the county?
We had our DPW meeting the other night. We're reaching out, actually, we're going to basically be...
Into the microphone, please. Thank you.
If we can get lapel mics, that'd be beneficial.
Add that to the budget.
We had our DPW meeting the other night, and we'll be discussing with PSE&G and issuing some items to them about proceeding with the restoration work, but the curbs did not come up at that meeting.
Right, because I'm curious now, Mike Loop, my mistake, West Foch and East Foch is going to get some paving done, the other half of the road.
You're talking about beyond the job that's going on now?
Right, another grant for the other side.
Another grant came in, that's correct.
And that's going to take place approximately, maybe, when?
Well, it's got to be designed, so.
Okay, that's the point I'm getting to then. You know, we've had a problem at East Foch in Maine for a long time, the water, the drainage. Is that going to be addressed finally?
It's been one of the greatest mysteries of our time, where that water's coming from, but that'll be investigated as part of that project.
Right? Because like you said, that road's been paved quite a few times in the last 15 years now. And like you said, it's the same old problem. So appreciate that. I'd like to go back to a little bit to the title search. When Milltown acquires property, any kind of property, or an easement, they do a title search on each piece?
Generally, yes.
It's required? So
It's not required, it's just...
it's done for due
I dare
diligence.
say any attorney that represents a municipality will buy a piece of property without a title search.
Right, due diligence, so when the drainage pipes were put in next to that rail line behind the post office, Milltown acquired that property, and they acquired property behind the Speedway too. Some small lots, so we probably did a title search on that?
We may have, I would assume we did, I just...
You're talking about the three large, is it three? Three or two large concrete drainage pipes that basically go underneath. I think they come down JFK and then go straight across.
Right.
So they didn't touch the train tracks, but I'm curious as to...
No, but that, I'm getting to the point that from Main Street, in fact, the gas station, all the way over, like I said, going back in time, that was owned by Myers. And then it went to Michelin, from what I've seen, and went to Alsol. So I'm just curious if we have any title search books or whatever of previous work done. Do we keep that? It's records that can be accessed, previous title searches, on anything for the town, for that matter.
I mean, I can go upstairs and look.
You know?
I know we lost a lot of documents when Old Borough Hall was flooded back in, was it the 90s? In the 90s. So what's left and what's been retained, and if it's scanned in or not, might be difficult to find. It's probably easier and less costly to just do a new title search. But what I was starting to allude to earlier was when the borough did Washington Avenue, or actually the county did Washington Avenue, there used to be train tracks there, so I'm sure they did a title search, so I wonder if that would help us in identifying any potential owners or people who have reserved rights.
So which aspect of Washington Avenue?
The lower portion where the train tracks now between the Borough Hall and the mill and the post office go. Yeah, they used to go behind the mill, and those have since been ripped out. So I would think that at some time the county would have done a title search, maybe, hopefully, fingers crossed. I don't know. But
They may have, again, you're going to then ask somebody to go find something for you. If expedience is what you're looking for, that's probably not the best route. If you have all the time in the world and we want to start pursuing other angles, we can do that too, so.
I'm just thinking if we come up empty-handed with.
Right, no, understood.
Trying to-
Listen, if we hit a dead end, then we can explore other options, but I dare say, I'm optimistic that if we are contracting for a title search, record owner search and easements, that we're going to get the answers to those questions.
Because what I'm driving at, once again here, like I said, I believe around, in the 80s, title search was done for the property behind the rescue squad, for the Mill Park. That exists. Like I said, we also have, I don't know if anybody's looked at it yet, the 2 searches by Bourret pertaining to Ford Avenue, which go back. But, like I said, due diligence, I'm back to the Mill Pond again, where it shows we own the pond on the tax map. And I'm curious if a title search or something shows that, to verify that. I can find no record of anything about that. And I'm just trying to tie this all together. So any help would be appreciated. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Dorian Kerber, 24 Riva Avenue. What was up in the ceiling of the clerk's office? Because that came rushing down from the ceiling when the original, retired now, Mike Danusic was here. Something happened where some of the documents got lost too and damaged. From, I don't know, was it a water heater? He didn't even know what was in the ceiling, or the AC unit, whatever. But part of that was a problem too, and we didn't lose documents and that at that time, like 13, 14, or 15, somewhere around that time. I remember that.
Thank you. I'd like to close the public portion of the,
Charles Ariniak, Charles David Ariniak, 322 South Main Street, Milltown, New Jersey.
48850.
First of all, as Russ said, I want to thank everybody for their support at the Boy Scout Troop 33 Spaghetti Dinner. That was awesome. It was a fun time. Good seeing everybody who came. Thank you for coming. And recently, I've lived in Milltown my whole life. I've been involved with Our Lady Lourdes in some way. I've been involved with United Methodist Church in some ways, and I've been involved with St. Paul's Church in some ways, and they've all done great things for this town. And I know that recently a lot of people, well, 1 or 2 people have been upset with some activities that churches are doing, and I don't think that's right. And I think it's important that we support these churches that have supported the community for well over 100 years, some even before Milltown was even founded. The services they provide the people, they help bring people together through different community development programs and different organizations that they host, and they're good organizations, and they shouldn't be vilified by people. And I think we owe it to them to show our support and gratefulness for all that they do. I know Our Lady of Lourdes Bazaar, their Christmas bazaar, that can get loud, and there's there's traffic out there and stuff, but nobody calls the police on them. Methodist Church, they have their organ playing and stuff, and nobody calls the cops on them. We could even extend this to the American Legion. They do their concerts outside, and nobody in the mill who lives there calls the cops on them. But then all of a sudden, St. Paul's has a couple concerts that are actually really quiet. I walked by there when they were having them, and police get called on them. I don't think that's right, and I think we should be supporting them more. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Richard Ryan, 60 South Main Street. I thought I was going to give everybody a night off.
We could only be so lucky.
Not so lucky. So, I don't know that anybody's perception that an organization is being vilified. I understand that's their perception. The fact that similar activities may take place in various places in town, I understand. I often hear music coming from Borough, from Mayor Bradford Park when there are events there. I often hear music when there are events being held at the American Legion Pavilion. Where I exist, they are fairly loud. I hear them. The difference for me, I'm on this side of town, south side, so I don't know about Our Lady of Lourdes or anybody else or anything that may be happening up there. The difference is that more times than not, these functions happening around the general vicinity of Borough Hall here happen during daylight hours. Now, if there's a concert at the Borough Park Pavilion, or a concert or some sort of live entertainment at the American Legion that is happening after dark, in all my years at 60 South Main Street, I've never seen or heard of an issue where it went beyond 10 o'clock. Whether or not anybody calls the police during those events, I don't have access to that information. I suspect there probably have been some phone calls, though. I don't know that I would just take, well, I guess I would take at face value somebody offering that. So there's a couple differences here. And some of the dialogue generated by me has pointed out that I am fully aware and understanding of certain activities that take place near my property that are actually a benefit to the community. And that community is the borough of Milltown. So to insinuate that, a few people or a particular person want to vilify is just inaccurate and frankly disingenuous at best. The record reflects how often the police had to be called because we, as the residents who live directly nearest the church, received zero cooperation with regard to some of the issues. One being, maybe we could try this during daylight hours. Absolutely enforce the noise ordinance. Absolutely no noise or live music after 10 o'clock at night. They couldn't even meet that. Forget about the fact, and the records show that police were responding for crowds that were still there on some occasions after midnight. All right, so if we want to discuss apples, let's discuss apples, not oranges. Now, having said that, I will offer that though some were likely displeased with a violation that was received, it's my understanding that it went before the prosecutor and municipal court judge last week. I don't have full understanding of what that outcome was, but I will stand here and thank everybody involved who understood that it's a real issue and took some steps to help. I can't offer any more than that tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Charles David Winiak, 322 South Main Street, Milltown. I want to reiterate that we should support our churches and the clergy who are involved with them and show them respect and help them earn their way the way they have to. Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to close the public portion of the meeting. Council comments?
Yes. This is to the Milltown Police Department.
If there is anything further that anyone on council would like to bring up at this time.
Can we go? No, you're good. Okay. This is to the Milltown Police Department. I give my unwavering support, thanks, and respect. As I see around the country, our brave and dedicated police officers, men and women, put their lives on the line every day as they put on their vest that may be needed to save their lives on any given day. Police officers have been demonized around the country. I will not let that happen here in Milltown. Our dedicated, trained, and caring officers deserve our support, appreciation, and respect. Our streets and our town are safe day and night, not because of me and not because of you. It's our Milltown police who leave their families to protect yours. I feel very safe in our town, and the only people that are responsible for that are our police. My thanks to them is not enough, but it's a start.
Is this council comments? Oh, I'd just like to say that, you know, anybody can make comments on Facebook, and, you know, and you have to believe what you believe on the internet. But to make cowardly comments about a police officer's performance, remember, 2/3 of the calls we have in town are usually medical calls. So that person that you're commenting on may be there next time to save your life. So, and I'd just like to say happy St. Patrick's Day to all our residents. Thank you.
If we could go on down the line, this is a public safety announcement from your friendly council president. This weekend I was doing some work. I got a little bit of a red eye here. It's not pink eye. I did get a metal shard in my eye. You can take those out with a magnet, believe it or not. But it is extremely painful, so if you thought I wasn't listening or nodding off this evening, I wasn't. I'm just trying to rest this cornea abrasion. But to all those folks out there, wear your safety goggles when you're doing some work. I was wearing mine. It happened to get underneath anyway, but wear your safety goggles. Thank you.
quick, I went to, let me see, I had really good pancakes on Sunday, and met some really good people. And that was over at the Masons. And I was just, one of those things that, as many times as I've been by that building, I literally stood in front of it going, where's the entrance? Oh, there it is, there's a little, but, just thought it was nice, and it was mentioned to me that, to expect some fine pancakes, my daughter, who is she's really got the exquisite taste bud, she agreed to. But some really nice people, and I think they're going to be, they do a lot of good stuff in town. It was nice to find some of those things. Also, I know with Earth Day coming, I'll be doing probably some work with the environmental group, and they might be able to volunteer with us. A lot of people, the green team as well, will be involved in that. It's a nice idea. I don't know how the thing works with trying to get landscapers or subbing out some of that work, but I'm sure that we can get, maybe in the next month or two in spring, we can get some able bodies together on a Sunday and knock out something to help the DPW. I always like beating up a tree or some type of environmental thing that needs to go with all the tools that I have at the garage, and I'm sure we can get some people together. And I'll take a couple of steps to do that. So look for that on Milltown for All, or on a text message from any of the people in the council who might own a shovel or two. Thank you.
Only if you wear proper PPE.
Safety is our utmost concern.
I would just like to thank everyone that continues to come out to these meetings and watches on Channel 15 and on YouTube. Your voice is important, especially when there are things going around town that whether you agree or not, it's always good to have your opinion so that the council can take that into consideration. And we'll also wish everybody a happy safe St. Patrick's Day.
If I can, one more thing. I really appreciate these things.
I just have a couple quick ones. I wanted to see if the Finance Committee can provide any updates to the South Main Street Firehouse property that we wanted to look at into possibly converting or selling, or what we were going to do with that. Is there any updates to that?
Nothing as we've mentioned further, but we'll have to put our heads together with our borough council and discuss what our liabilities are with doing so.
Okay, thank you. I would like to also congratulate the Middletown Fire Department on the successful grant awarding with $75,000 for firefighter gear. This grant is enough to replace 7 sets of gear that are past life expectancy, so congratulations to them. And I would like to also thank the Middletown Fire Department for the invitation to the wonderful banquet that was held Saturday night at the Middletown American Legion. We're going to just go over real quick for the agenda session items for discussion for March 11th, 2024 meeting.
26.
26.
Oh, today's the 11th. So for March 26th meeting. Ordinance public hearing, second reading for 24-1532, ordinance amending Chapter 7, the traffic section, parking prohibited during certain hours on certain streets, impose parking restrictions on west side of JFK Boulevard between Violet Terrace and Nicholas Court. Ordinance public hearing, second reading, 24-1533, ordinance amending Chapter Parks and Recreation, Borough Pool, recreation programs.
Any questions or comments?
Just quickly, can we get a copy of ordinance 1532 about parking on JFK? Can we get that out to the residents that live in the affected area?
Now that it's been initially adopted, it'll,
So that'll go out this weekend?
I mean, where do you, it'll be online with the meeting documents.
Can we mail that out to them as well? Or if you want to print out a couple copies, I got legs, I can walk them up.
Do you want to send it before it's adopted?
I'm sorry?
You want to send it before it's adopted?
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Yes, yeah, so that they have an opportunity to come here and comment.
I'll make some flyers and say this is up for public hearing, and I'll drop them off to you to distribute to the
Thank you.
residents.
It's ordinance introduction, 24-1534, ordinance amending Chapter 2, Section 2-100, entitled Fees for Municipal Services, Chapter 15, Section 15-2-3, construction permits, Chapter 15, Section 15-3, zoning permits, Chapter 4, Section 4-40.7, fees, Chapter 6, Section 6.34, maximum number of licenses, license fees, Chapter 5, Section 5-17, dog license fees, and general ordinance for Borough of Milltown. Any questions?
This is, Fred and I reached out to all the department heads, all the fees charged by different departments. Apparently, we were very behind on at least updating our construction permit fees. So we decided to take a look at all of the fees, get input. So you'll be receiving that as mayor and council within the next week or so, so you have more time to look over that before it's presented at the next meeting. There's just a lot of material to put together.
Resolution authorizing execution of MDC lease to support agreement with South Brunswick Police Department. Any questions? That's computers and...
Yeah, we currently lease, the police lease their laptops, which they use to run plates, NCIC, all that stuff through South Brunswick. Those laptops are aging out, all right? So as part of the contract, they're amending it so that we can get new laptops with it, extend the lease up to 5 years, I believe it is, but we're just waiting on a copy of that, and that'll also be sent out to you.
Authorizing execution, a resolution authorizing execution of service agreement with North Brunswick for finance office. Resolution appointing member to the Milltown Office of Emergency Management. Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Collins, seconded by Council President Revelinsky. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
I was just about to go find out, because I'll be in 26, so that's problematic for me, so I gotta go get an answer.
I can't believe I put my ear to the microphone.